Hi everyone, right, good afternoon, good evening even, and welcome to tonight's training. I'll give it a minute or two just for it to get somebody. I'll wait until people get on. I've just bought this today, you know, the new orange bar soap that's come out, and it's dead nice. I like the box and everything, it's gorgeous. Look inside there's your soap. Oh, it smells absolutely lovely. Show you that while I'm waiting for people to come on. Right, okay, so let's get this show on the road, so to speak. If you're here with me, say hi. I'll say hi back. If you are on live, or even if you're watching on replay, actually, if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments and I will answer them for you. What I did want to just quickly go through before I start on tonight's training, which is about leadership. Last week when I did the training on recruitment, I completely forgot to mention websites. I might have mentioned them in passing, because that is a legitimate way to get recruits, is to set up a website. However, and this is probably one of the reasons why I didn't mention it, they can be expensive. You can get one-page sites which are free or cheap or what have you, but they're not very good. They're more like if it's a one-page website, it's more like a landing page where people come, land on your page, and then off they go again. Whereas on a proper website, if you want to get your website in front of people, you need to have a good knowledge of SEO, which is search engine optimization, because we're not allowed to use paid advertising with Essens. That's in your T&C. So you've got to have a good knowledge of SEO, and you need to work on it constantly. So it's a lot of hard work having a website, and as I say, it's expensive. That is why I didn't cover it in depth last week. However, so long as you've got somewhere to direct people when you've actually got somebody who's interested, whether that be to a video, whether it be to a guide, or whether it be to an opportunity page, then you shouldn't need a website anyway. You can recruit just on social media. Right, so that brings me very nicely actually into tonight's training, which is on leadership. Now, and the reason I say that is because recruitment and leadership is all about relationship building. Now, if you were on the kickoff this weekend, and I thoroughly recommend that you get a ticket if you weren't, you will have heard Todd Falcone speak. Now, I didn't hear the whole lot because unfortunately I had some problems this weekend, which I've already spoken about, but the bit I did hear, he was talking about building relationships with your customers, with your new recruits, with the people that you interact with in Essens all the time. So it is about building that relationship. So when it comes to getting a recruit, let's assume that you've gone through the recruitment process. You've got somebody who's interested in joining Essens. That person has gone, yeah, right, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sign up, right? And they've signed up. So what you do next with them entirely depends on what's happened before and how you've actually managed to get them. So if it's somebody who's come, for example, with me, because I have got a website, sometimes I get people join me, never spoken to them, they've gone to my website, they've read all the information on the website and they've decided to join without actually speaking to me. So I don't know them, they don't know me. There is no relationship at that point. That is why recruits that come through a website, 1 in 6 do something. If you're talking to somebody face to face, it's the opposite way around. Out of 6, 1 will do nothing. So it is actually better to speak to people. You will get better results if you're actually speaking to people, but that influences the way that you actually treat them when they do join. Because the first thing, if they come through a website or they come through your link or you've never spoken to them before, the first thing you've got to do is build a relationship with them, and that you do by contacting them. Now, you can pick the phone up and phone them if you're really brave, or you can have a process. Now, I've got a process that I go through with every single person who joins my team if they have come through the website and I've never spoken to them. And simply, that is, I send them an email welcoming them to Essens, telling them who I am and what I do, and telling them that I'm there to support them. I then send them a text message telling them that I've sent them an email just in case they miss it. And then if they respond, then all well and good, then I can take it from there. If they don't respond, I'll send them a reminder text message a couple of days later, just saying, hi, I noticed you didn't respond to my earlier email. Is everything okay? Have you decided to continue with your business? If they don't reply to that one, I don't bother, because you know, time is precious, and you can't keep chasing somebody. It will irritate them. They'll never come back to Essens again, and it's just a waste of your time because they'll probably never respond to you. That's if you're onboarding somebody through who's never come to you before. Okay, so let's assume it's somebody that you've already been talking to. You have already developed a relationship with them. Okay, so you've already got a dialogue going on between the two of you, and let's face it, your relationship must be in that place where they trust you enough to actually have signed up with Essens at that point. So it isn't about creating a new relationship with them. It's about making the most of the relationship that you've got with them. So I'm going to start off with a couple of don'ts when it comes to leadership. The first thing I want you to remember is that anybody who joins Essens is self-employed. Usually they've got another job alongside, or another business going on alongside. I think a lot of people do. And you have to remember that because of that, they probably don't put Essens as the top priority in their life. It might be the top priority in your life, it is in mine, but it's not necessarily in theirs. So there is a little bit of empathy that's got to go on. You need to be empathic towards them. You need to be able to put yourself into their shoes, as it from their point of view. So that is something you've got to remember, which means that you can't lord it over people. You can't boss people around. You can't say, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to do the other, because they can quite easily turn around and say, oh, have I? Bye. So that is, you know, when it comes to being a leader, you have to strike a balance between being a leader and being a boss, not being a boss, should I say, because you can't actually boss people around. However, that is not to say that you let them boss you around either. At the end of the day, Essens is a fantastic opportunity. They have to realise that, and you are there to help them to realise that. So, sorry, can I just put my glasses on 1 second because I've lost my place on the notes. So we've gone out. So what do you do with your new recruit when you get them? Well, first of all, you welcome them to Essens. Second of all, you add them to the groups. Now, the most important one to add them to is the Essens Diamond. Hi, Denise. The Essens Diamonds Training and Support Group, because that is where all the majority of the training is actually in that group. So that's the most important one. Add them to my group, which is this one, Essens for Everyone team group. That, because this is where I do the recognition every month, and you want them to be able to take part in the recognition. The other groups available to them are the Essens Diamonds Products and Pictures Review Group. That's where they can find a lot of shareable content, and they get started with Essens Group, which is Justine and Phil's group, and that group is obviously where you're going to find out the corporate stuff, because Justine and Phil get to hear it first, and then they cascade it down in that group. Although at the end of the day, me, Rebecca, Janine are in that group, and we watch out for information coming through, and we cascade that down to you in this group as well. So that's the first thing you do with them. If they're not a seller, if there's somebody who's coming on board just as a VIP shopper, this is a best practice. Always add them to a WhatsApp list, a WhatsApp broadcast list, or an emailing list, so that if there's a sale on, you can get hold of them straight away, alert them to the sale, because they might not log in. They might not log into their account and look every day like we do. And they'll miss a sale, or they'll miss a free delivery offer, or something that's really good that they could really benefit from. So it's best practice to keep your VIP shoppers in a separate list and make sure that they know about every sale. Obviously, give everybody who joins, VIP shopper, team member, give them the perfume list, the fragrance list, and at the same time as you give it to them, tell them what they can't do with it, i.e. they can't post it publicly. They can post it in groups, they can send it via WhatsApp, they can send it via Messenger, they can send it via email, but don't post it anywhere publicly. So it's not all about the negatives of what you can't do. If you keep telling people you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do the other, they're going to think, what can I do? So you need to temper all the bad news with a bit of good news. This is what you can do, right? So if you've got a small team, this is going to be relatively easy, because you're going to be talking one-on-one with these people. Now, if you've got a large team like me, and I think at the last count, if I've got it written down somewhere, I had 787 members. It's not as easy to do the one-on-one stuff. So you have to have a way of keeping in touch with everybody in your team. Now, the way I manage that is by sending out emails, talking in Messenger. I've got a lot of the team phone numbers in my WhatsApp so that I can quickly communicate to them. Now, the idea with Essens is that if you are a leader, a team leader, like I'm like Essens for Everyone is my little leg, or my little business, and I've got 787. I didn't introduce those 787. A lot of those people are under other leaders. Now, you should be able to trust your leaders to look after the team, and in the majority of cases I do that. But there's quite a lot of leaders who introduce people and then they've stopped doing Essens. So I have to look after all of those people, and the way I manage that is by sending out emails regularly to people, letting them know about the team training, letting them know about offers, letting them know about new products, and keeping them up to date really with anything that they need to know about. So communication is a big part of being a leader. So you have to make sure that the people under you know as much as you do in terms of what's going on with the business, because obviously in order to do your job you've got to have the up-to-date information. You can't be going, for example, you can't be going out there telling people that, you know, you order 8 perfumes, you get 1 free, you order 14 perfumes, you get 2 free, you order 18 perfumes, you get 3 free. Yeah, you can't do that, because that's no longer the case. Now it's 5, 9 and 12. So if you order 5, you get 1 free. If you order 9, you get 2 free. If you order 12, you get 3 free. Right? Now, if you've not told your team members that, and they've not been looking at their back office, they're not going to know. So they're going to be going out giving old information. So your job is to try to make sure that what they need to know has been communicated to them at the right time. So that is part of it. The other part of being a leader, of course, is leading by example. So if you've got a team of people, you can't be asking them to do something that you don't do yourself. So if you are a team leader, you also have to be a salesperson. You can't just stop selling because you've got a team under you and you're earning a substantial amount of money. You still have to be able to sell. How can you train somebody else to sell if you can't do it yourself? So you have to lead by example. Another example is if there's a team training, if there's any sort of official training that is provided by Essens or your upline team leaders, then you need to attend those trainings. Why would you expect your team members to attend a training if you're not on it? I mean, I have heard so much training, and I'm hearing the same stuff over and over and over again. I'm not on the training events for me. I'm on the training events for my team. So if you have a team of people, lead by example. Obviously, there are going to be occasions when you can't attend training, and that's absolutely fine if there's a genuine reason. But if it's just a case of, oh God, I've heard it all before and don't really want to hear it again, yeah, that's just not on. If you're a leader, you need to lead by example and you need to attend the trainings. And the same with the kick-off event, I'm going to say it to you, if you're a leader and you want your team to do well, then you have to lead by example by attending things like the kick-off. The next thing is be helpful and supportive. Always encourage and support. So if you make sure that your team members have got a way to contact you, be that on Facebook, be that on WhatsApp, be that on email. Now, when I recruit somebody, I always make sure that they know my telephone number, my email address, and how to get hold of me on Facebook. In fact, I try to add them as friends when I recruit somebody. I try to get them as friends. Can't always find them on Facebook. Some people are not on Facebook, but I always try to do that so that there is that facility for them to contact you. Also, on that note as well, if you only work certain hours, I mean, I work ridiculous hours. I work from like early in the morning till late at night, but not everybody does, because some people have got families and they want some family time, which is absolutely fine. So you set your own hours. If you only work from 9 in the morning till 5 p.m. at night, that is when you're contactable. So if you've got a new team member and they have got questions, etc., communicate to them. Just tell them, look, I only work from 9 till 5. I'm not available in the evenings. That's absolutely fine. So long as they know when you are available and when you're not available, that's absolutely fine. So you can do that. And that is about setting boundaries as well. I mean, clearly I've got no boundaries because I work till midnight. But, you know, here we go. Right. Provide them with tools, because they it's not a case of shoving them in the training group and expecting them to find their own way around. If you have got a new team member, the last thing you want to do is just shove them in the training group and just say, there you go to the guides, get on with it. Don't do it. Provide them with tools. So, for example, I've got the Essence guide. I've renamed it. It used to be called Change Your Life with Essence. I've renamed it as just the Essence guide. Makes it sound less cheesy. And I personalise that for anybody who starts under me, directly under me, gets it personalised. If anybody comes to me and says, can you personalise one of these for my team, I'll do it. I'll do it as a priority. And I'll make sure that gets out to them. Obviously, the perfume list, got to have that. And there's also other little recruitment, the recruitment leaflet. I've done it. I've got it all set up and it ready. You know, the one I mentioned last week that Denise wants a copy of. I've done that. I'll post it after this because it is actually ready to go. So I'll post it in the group, and then anybody who wants one can comment underneath. But those are the type of things that I'm talking about. It's up to you to provide tools to your distributors so that they can do their job. You are, as a leader, you're also a facilitator, which means that you facilitate them. You make it easy for them to do their job. And then finally, oh no, not finally, there's the other thing that you can do is what I'm doing now, which is doing a team training. So you can put together your own team trainings. Now you don't have to do them on Facebook Lives if you don't feel comfortable doing that. Team trainings can be done by email effectively. If you've got a list of the email addresses of the people on your team, you can do the trainings by email. You can do them by Zoom call. You can even do them over the phone if you wanted to do them over the phone. You can do them one-on-one, or you can do them as a group training. There's certain advantages to doing one-on-one because people are more comfortable asking questions in a one-on-one environment. But there's also certain advantages, mainly to you, of doing a group call, group training. And that is obviously because you're reaching, say you've got 8 people on your team, you don't have to make 8 individual phone calls. You've got 8 people on the call with you half the time, right? It's if they turn up. Now, that is another thing, an important thing that I wanted to come to is like, if they turn up. Sometimes you will get people who joined Essence, they think they know what they're doing, they think they know everything. Maybe they've worked with another network marketing company. They don't know everything, they just think they know everything. So they don't think they need your help, right? So those type of people, you can invite them, and always do invite them, but they won't ever turn up because they think they know what they're doing. So you can only, what's the phrase? You can only lead a horse to water. You cannot make it drink. So at the end of the day, yes, invite them, but don't keep battering yourself around the head trying to get them to come to events and stuff like that. If they don't want to come, they're not going to come. I think it is a statement now about how committed they are to the company if they don't respond to you. And I think that will then indicate to you how much time that you have to spend with that person. So if somebody's showing commitment, if somebody's attending trainings, if somebody's in your inbox asking you questions, there is a very, very good indication that this person is committed to the business, wants to do well with the business, and those people are the people that are worth spending extra time with. I'm not saying ignore the others, I'm saying offer them the same level of service, the same basic level of service, but don't be putting yourself, don't be going the extra mile for somebody who isn't showing commitment to you. You should meet them at the level that they're giving, if you see what I mean. Right. Okay, and finally, an important part of being a leader is recognition. Right, now that to me is one of the most important things, is to recognize people's achievements. And that is why at the end of every month, at the beginning of the next, I always every month put something in my group that recognizes anybody who has achieved during that month, because I know what it feels like to achieve something and not get recognised, nobody says anything to you. And it is soul destroying. You know you've done a good job, but other people are not recognising it. So I always think to myself, you know, how would I feel if I was in that position? So that is why last year, I think it was the beginning of last year, that I actually started doing the recognition for the whole team, because at that point the team had got really, really big and I wasn't sure who was getting recognised, who wasn't getting recognised, and that's why I took it on board as my responsibility to make sure that everybody who achieved got recognised for what they did. So if you are a team leader and you've got people under you, just that is something, always recognise them. You don't have to incentivize them with, you know, large gifts, which is something I used to do and I've stopped doing, because I then learned that it's not duplicatable, and anything that you do as a leader should be duplicatable by your team. So if you don't have to offer big prizes for things, little prizes, yes, I still do that, but as far as recognition goes, issuing team certificates, issuing like the list that I do every month, where I show the top 10, those type of things, and they are a bit of work, but now I've got it down to a fine art. It takes me about an hour and a half to work out who's done what, and then it'll take me about another hour to do all the videos and everything. It's 2.5 hours out of a month. I don't mind doing it. If that motivates people, gets them going, makes them feel special, then that is absolutely fine by me. I do not mind doing that. So that are my top tips for being a team leader. Next week, I haven't decided what I'm going to be training on. There was something that went through my head earlier on in the week, and I've completely forgotten what it was now, because I'm getting old and I forget stuff. But I will remember at some point, and then I'll let you know during the week what next week's training is going to be on. And yeah, I'll communicate that to you at some point. I'll probably send it out by email actually, or put it in the, no, I'll put it in this group. I'll put it in this group next week, before obviously before Thursday, because there was something and I just cannot remember what it was, and it's something that I'm pretty sure that everybody is going to enjoy. Okay, well, thank you for coming on tonight, and keep up the good work, and we will talk soon. So if you're watching on replay, don't forget to leave a comment, because I can see who's on here now, but afterwards, after I finish the live, I can't see who's actually come on. So if you are watching on replay, please leave me a comment underneath with a little hashtag replay, and then I know who's seen it. And bye for now. See you later.